The coyotes howled at the pale moon hanging like a silver medallion over the Arizona mountains as Sarah Blackhorse stood at her father's grave. The wind whispered through the juniper trees, carrying memories of a love that should never have been, a forbidden romance between Navajo warrior John Blackhorse and Army nurse Elizabeth Davis. Amid the chaos of World War II, their passion had created Sarah, a child of two worlds, and welcomed fully by neither. "You always said I'd find my place, Father," Sarah whispered, her raven hair dancing in the desert breeze. "But how can I belong anywhere, when both your people and hers see me as something broken?" She knelt down, placing a turquoise pendant on the freshly turned earth. The weight of 25 years of displacement settled on her shoulders like a heavy blanket. Her mother had died giving birth to her, rejected by her military family for loving a savage. Her father had raised her in the shadows, between cultures, until tuberculosis had finally claimed him last week, leaving her truly alone. As dawn broke over the distant mesas, Sarah made her decision. She would forge her own path, build her own place of belonging. With nothing but her father's horse, a worn Winchester rifle, and the wisdom of both her bloodlines, she would stake her claim in the untamed mountains, where no one could deny her right to exist. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The year was 1967. While the rest of America wrestled with civil rights marches and Vietnam protests, Sarah rode deeper into the painted canyons, where the modern world seemed like a distant dream. She found it after 3 weeks of searching, a hidden valley nestled between towering red rock formations, with a clear stream cutting through meadows dotted with wildflowers. Ruins of ancient cliff dwellings clung to the canyon walls, silent testimony to others who had once sought refuge here. "This is it," she murmured, to Thunder, her paint horse. "This is where we begin again." Sarah built her cabin with her own hands, each log placed with determination, each nail driven with purpose. By autumn, smoke curled from her stone chimney as she prepared for the harsh mountain winter. Alone but free, she hunted and gathered, applying the skills her father had taught her alongside the medical knowledge gleaned from her mother's journals. But the solitude gnawed at her soul. On cold nights, she would stand outside her cabin, looking at the stars, feeling the emptiness of her existence. "Is this all there is?" she asked the indifferent cosmos. "To be free but alone." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The gunshot echoed through the canyon like a thunderclap. Sarah grabbed her rifle and medical bag instinctively. Following the sound, she discovered a man collapsed near the stream, blood soaking through his shirt. A white man with a sheriff's badge, shot in the side. "Ma'am," he gasped, eyes widening at the sight of her. "Thank God." His name was Thomas Whitfield, pursuing cattle rustlers when he'd been ambushed. Without hesitation, Sarah helped him to her cabin, using her mother's medical techniques to remove the bullet and clean the wound. For 2 weeks she nursed him back to health. Thomas watched her with curious eyes as she moved between worlds, brewing Navajo healing tea, while humming Methodist hymns her mother had written down, reading Shakespeare by firelight, while wrapped in a hand-woven Navajo blanket. "You're the strangest angel of mercy I've ever encountered," he said one evening, strong enough now to sit by the fire. Sarah stiffened. "I'm not strange. I'm just both." "Both," he repeated thoughtfully. "You know where I come from in Colorado. We're building something different. A mining town, where UTs work alongside white settlers. Mexican traders set up shops next to Chinese immigrants. It ain't perfect, but it's a start." Sarah studied his face, searching for lies, finding none. "Why would they do that?" "Because the mountains don't care what color you are when winter comes," Thomas replied simply. "We all need each other to survive." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When Thomas left, Sarah felt the valley's silence more acutely than ever before. His words had planted a seed in her heart. Perhaps freedom wasn't found in isolation, but in building something new. Her opportunity came sooner than expected. One spring morning, she encountered a family, a white man, his Hopi wife, and their 3 children, traveling through the canyon, fleeing persecution from both their communities. "We heard there was a healer in these mountains," the woman explained, her youngest child feverish in her arms. "Someone who understands both medicines." As Sarah treated the child, the couple shared their story. They weren't the only mixed family seeking refuge. Rumors had spread about the medicine woman, who lived between worlds. Stay, Sarah found herself saying. This valley is large enough. They were the first of many. A Mexican blacksmith and his Irish wife. A former slave and his Cherokee companion. A Chinese railroad worker who had escaped the brutal conditions of the transcontinental project. One by one, they came. The unwanted, the between, the both. Together they built a community, unlike any other. They named it Harmony, though the outside world remained unaware of its existence. They constructed homes and a trading post. They established gardens and orchards. They created a school, where children learned from multiple traditions and languages. And at the center of it all was Sarah, no longer torn between worlds, but embracing the strength of both her heritages. Asterisk, asterisk, the seasons turned, and harmony flourished in its hidden valley. But paradise always faces its serpent. The mining company arrived in the summer of 1973, men with papers claiming ownership of the land, men with guns backing those papers. Their leader, William Prescott, seemed amused by the diverse community he discovered. Well, isn't this a fascinating experiment? He remarked coldly. Unfortunately, there's copper in these hills, and progress waits for no one, especially not for a collection of misfits. The community gathered that night, in the meeting hall they had built together. Fear hung in the air like smoke. We should leave, some argued. We've always been nomads anyway. No, Sarah stood before them, her voice steady. We stop running. This is our home now. The vote was unanimous. They would stay and fight, not with violence, but with the legal system that had so often been used against them. Sarah rode to the nearest town, seeking help from the one person she thought might understand. She found Thomas Whitfield, now a county judge, in his courtroom. You built it, he said with wonder when she described Harmony. You actually built it. With Thomas's legal expertise, they discovered that the mining company's claim had fatal flaws. The land had been part of a federal grant to Native American veterans of World War II, including John Blackhorse. The courtroom battle lasted months. Newspapers caught wind of the story, the mysterious integrated community fighting for its survival, led by the daughter of a Navajo warrior and a white nurse. When the verdict finally came, vindicating Harmony's right to exist, Sarah stood on the courthouse steps, facing a crowd of reporters. We're not trying to change the world, she told them. We're just trying to build a small corner of it where people can be their whole selves. The publicity brought both danger. The threats came from those who despised the very idea of harmony, but also support from unexpected allies. Universities sent anthropologists, civil rights activists made pilgrimages, politicians visited for photo opportunities. Sarah navigated these intrusions with the diplomacy inherited from both her warrior father and her healer mother. She understood that Harmony's greatest protection now was its visibility. The community expanded. They built a proper clinic where Sarah trained others in both Western medicine and traditional healing. They established a cooperative that sold their crafts and agricultural products to the outside world. They created a council where every cultural tradition had a voice. And through it all, Sarah and Thomas grew closer, their relationship evolving from friendship to something deeper. He eventually moved to Harmony permanently, building a law office to help other marginalized communities secure their rights. You know what makes this place work? He asked Sarah one evening, as they sat on their porch, watching children of all backgrounds playing together in the twilight. What's that? It's not that we ignore our differences, it's that we celebrate them while remembering our common humanity. Sarah leaned against him, watching as the first stars appeared. My father once told me that I would need to forge my own trail because I didn't fit on any existing path. I think that's true for all of us here. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. By 1987, Harmony had become a symbol. Scholars wrote about the Harmony model for multicultural communities. The settlement had grown to over 300 residents, with a school system that attracted educators interested in multicultural approaches. But for Sarah, now in her mid-40s with streaks of silver in her black hair, the greatest achievement was more personal. She stood at the entrance of Harmony's Cultural Center, a circular building that incorporated architectural elements from all the traditions represented in their community. Inside, she had finally completed the project that had consumed her for years, a museum dedicated to the stories of Harmony's families. Photographs and artifacts told the tale of people who had created belonging out of rejection, strength out of difference. At the center was a special exhibit. Her father's Navajo uniform from World War II displayed alongside her mother's Army nurse cap and the journals they had kept. Their love letters, preserved all these years, revealed the depth of a connection that had transcended the boundaries of their time. As visitors from around the country explored the exhibits, Sarah overheard a young girl, clearly of mixed heritage herself, asking her mother, "Where do I belong?" Sarah knelt beside the child. "Wherever you make your stand, whatever parts of you exist, they are all worthy, all valuable. The world will try to make you choose, but remember this, you can build your own path." The girl's eyes widened with understanding beyond her years. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. As twilight painted the canyon walls with golden light, the community gathered for their annual Founders' Day celebration. Tables groaned under the weight of dishes from a dozen culinary traditions. Musicians played instruments from around the world, creating harmonies that shouldn't have worked but somehow did. Sarah stood at the edge of the gathering, watching the community she had helped create. Thomas joined her, wrapping an arm around her waist. "Penny for your thoughts, Mrs. Whitfield." She smiled. "I was thinking about my parents, how their love created not just me but all of this." She gestured to the thriving settlement. "They never got to see it, but they knew it was possible," Thomas replied. "That's why they chose love over convention." The celebration continued into the night. Children enacted the story of Harmony's founding, the lonely woman who had built a cabin, the wounded sheriff, the first families seeking refuge. The elders added details, keeping the oral history alive. When called upon to speak, Sarah stepped forward, her presence commanding immediate respect. "Love beyond boundaries is not just a romantic notion," she told the gathered community, her voice carrying across the valley. "It's a revolutionary act. When we love beyond the lines that others have drawn for us, we redraw the map of what's possible." She looked out at the faces illuminated by firelight, faces of every shade, every origin, yet all sharing the light of belonging. "We stand here as living proof that another way is possible. Not perfect, not without struggle, but real and enduring. We are each of us bridges between worlds. And bridges, my friends, are the most sacred architecture humans can build." As the stars emerged above the canyon walls, Sarah felt a profound sense of completion. From a child rejected by two worlds, she had become the founder of a new one, a world where both was not a burden but a blessing. The firelight flickered across faces rapt with attention as she delivered her final words. "The greatest freedom isn't found in escaping who you are, but in fully becoming it, all of it, and then using that uniqueness to build something that outlasts you." Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The legend of Sarah Blackhorse and the community of Harmony lives on, a testament to courage, identity, and love that transcends boundaries. If this tale of a woman who forged her own destiny between worlds touched your heart, remember that we all carry multiple heritages within us, whether of blood, experience, or belief. Asterisk, like Sarah's story. Show your appreciation by liking this video, sharing your own stories of finding belonging in the comments below, and subscribing for more tales of courage, love, and the enduring human spirit that connects us all across time and difference. Asterisk, asterisk. Until next time, remember the most beautiful rainbows only appear when different elements come together in perfect harmony.